In this video, the work continues on my auction WRX. I finished putting the engine back together, put everything back to stock, and I try to put the engine back in the car. Alright, so I didn't know that the blow-off valve / bypass valve location for these was right by the intake. So all this extra tubing can go. There's this little adapter here with a blank on this side, acts as an elbow to go up this way. So I'm just going to take it off here and see if I can put the stock one on. This will make things a lot better. It's really on there, huh? Does not want to come out. Don't need any of this anymore. Maybe the little tube. Okay, so charge pipe goes there, and this goes there. And so this goes in there like that. Let me get this out of the way. Like that. And this goes like this. So I can put this in here, and I got to figure out where this connects. It might connect up here. I imagine it connects to one of these tubes that is not used, so I'm gonna have to understand the intake vacuum lines a little better, because this wasn't used, and there's a part up here that wasn't used either. There's a part there that's blocked off as well, and I think there's another tube blocked off somewhere else, so we're gonna look at some diagrams. This should be the part that I so carelessly broke in the previous video. I'm just hoping that there's no wild cards in replacing it. That is identical. It actually is a little better looking than mine. All right, the inside of this looks pristine as well. So let's just reinstall it. There's a little slot there. I guess I have to line up with that. And there's gears in there and gears here. So I'm hoping it just goes right in smooth. And it's not. Come on. All right. So now I'm going to compare this to the way it looked before to make sure that this is in the right position. So I imagine I could have moved it a bit. So I think this is right. I compared the angle to the other one, and it matches up. I mean, eBay is a beautiful thing. There we go. I went to do the spark plugs on my other WRX, pulled these off the wall, left them here, went over to my little, I call it a shop, but it's a storage unit. I don't even remember setting them here. I will not make the same mistake again. But yeah, that one goes there. I'm gonna put these in just so I can't make the same mistake twice. Okay, so I think it is time to start putting the harness on, because this insulating thing goes right here, and it covers definitely this injector, but it makes that one difficult to get to as well. Let's see how this goes. I do remember that these bolted up back here. I had a general idea of how the harness went back on, but if I was unsure about the routing, I wouldn't fully insert a connector such that it would be easier to correct later. But there were some areas I was confident about. Okay, so I know where these goes. This goes here. It mounts there. But in my previous video, I mentioned I was going to try and clean these because they are disgusting. So I'm going to leave them out for now. All right, trial and error with routing, but the plugs generally only go in one spot. So I think I have it generally laid out the way it needs to go back in. You wouldn't know it, but it's the next morning, and this section right here threw me for a loop. But I think I got it figured out because it has this thing that covers it, and I didn't know the order of operations, as there's a bracket that goes here. But I went and looked at my old footage, and now I think I'm golden. I'm not going to redo this section. Having that section sorted gives me a bit more confidence to go ahead and connect the rest. This is broken. I might try to find one of these at a local store.
Hey, Mac.
Hey, Carl.
How are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Jen and I are going to get coffee at Fable. Do you want anything?
I want a cinnamon roll is what I want.
Do you want us to get you one?
I don't know if Jenna will get me one.
I'll get you one.
All right.
Cinnamon roll?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not even going to tell her. All right, Mac, you sure you don't want anything?
I'm sure.
Okay.
So this needs to go onto that bracket, but accessing the backside of that to mount using these bolts will be kind of difficult. So I am going to take the bracket off, connect it to the bracket and put it on. This would have been easier to put on before I put the intake manifold on. Lesson learned. I'm gonna try and make my routing back to OEM. And when I got the car, this was blocked off, but I think I'm gonna check the manual that this routes to one of the valves that is in there, but this was an aftermarket solution to make the blow-off valve work. And I also have this that is blocked off, and I don't know where that goes. So I'm really gonna have to look it up because, wait a minute, maybe it goes to this. So of those pipes, the one that's closest to the engine goes to D, and that's it up there. So I think the one that's on the top goes to the other blocked off port I have, and the one that doesn't go to the top goes to, okay, yeah, so the one that's lower goes to the top of this leftmost valve there. So I think this is an original bit of tubing. I'm going to put it on that one. I actually have this one plugged into the wrong one. This one goes here. All right, so I think I have it sorted. So this pipe goes to this one, and I do not have a pipe that does that. So I'm gonna see if I can get the OEM Subaru one. If not, I may just get one from a parts store. So I just called Subaru, and they said there are only 3 of these in the country. I imagine it's not a part that gets replaced often. So I'm going to, it's just a vacuum line. on the intake. So I'm gonna find a hose that will fit this nicely and that will fit this nicely, get an adapter and call it good. I am kind of lucky. The tube I removed had this adapter. One side fits the small side, the other side fits the big side. So I'm gonna give it a go. Now I can cut it. Okay, I think I have all the hosing sorted. Let's keep going. Aha! I was going over everything and there's one more blocked off tube that I need to address. It goes somewhere down below, but I have to figure out where. The only place that it makes sense that it goes is right here. I didn't have this before. Now I gotta find a hose for that. And then I think I can start putting stuff on the front. All right, so I'm gonna install the charge pipe with my new OEM bypass valve. There we go. And this connector. So I went to the parts store, got some tubing. I think I cut it to a good length. And there we go. So this tubing on this side anyway is now sorted. But the sort of thing that for me anyway is easy to forget is to go ahead and tighten all the hose clamps. So worried about fitting everything, getting everything in the right spot, I sometimes forget the final step. I have a new one of these, but I didn't replace this because it still looks brand new. And if I have any issues, it is easily accessible. The crank pulley finally gets to be put back on.
I was kind of proud of myself. I said, I jumped and did it.
Hey.
Yeah, I used to jump, but still, that was a lot. It was all me. My brother about to tighten this bolt. 15 foot-pounds. I hope I didn't have a cold.
The crank pulley gets tightened to 15 foot-pounds and then 90 degrees. I put reference marks on the pulley and the bolt so that I knew when I reached 90 degrees. Oh, that hurt my elbow. Almost. Should have got a ratchet. I'll call that good. Then I installed the idler pulley. And I'm going to tighten this to 27 foot-pounds. All right, the water pump pulley. I got it. All right, I put this at 11 foot-pounds. Let's see if I can hold it tight enough to do it. No, I can't do it. And after this pulley, there wasn't much left to put back on the engine before I could move on to the flywheel and the clutch. So that is everything I can put on now. I do have the clutch kit waiting right there. I will pick up the pressure plate bolts in the morning. So yeah, I think I'm almost there. The goal today is to get the engine back in the car. The last big thing I got to put on is the new clutch kit. clutch. Alignment tool. It's a throwout bearing, clutch bearing. I always call this a throwout bearing. And yep, pressure plate and flywheel in there. Flywheel. I was about to put it on, but then I remembered there's something that goes between the crankshaft and the flywheel. It is this. It has these little knobs that this pickup gets right here. And this lines up with this hole. Got the alignment tool in. So what I'm doing is bottoming out the bolts bit by bit. The manual says that's important. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so now they are all bottomed out. And then they all get tightened to 12 foot-pounds in a crisscross pattern. I then installed and greased a new throwout bearing. I almost forgot that these connectors had a bunch of oil on them. So I'm just gonna see if this brake cleaner, yep, will rinse them out a bit. Actually, it works great. By the time everything's hooked up, it'll be very dry. Oh, I need another bolt. All right, I got the orientation right. I had to drop it down and twist the little hook. So now I'm going up. Hopefully it can go high enough. Maybe it's tall enough on the front. I had to adjust the hoist and the chain to clear the front of the car. But I think I got it now. So now the game is to line up these studs, the bottom of the transmission, and the motor mounts with the holes on the chassis. And after that, I should be home free. The thing about this is it goes down in an arc. It doesn't go down in a straight line. That's one in. Side note, mid-installation, I realized I hadn't put that plate to cover the flywheel in, so I installed it. Okay, so I got both of the bottom studs in. Now I'm just gonna try and line it up a little better. Would you look at that? One of the dowels stayed on the transmission and one was new. So there's no way I can close that gap. So I got to figure out a way to get one of those dowels out. And that's just on this side. I imagine there's a chance it could happen on the other side too. So I had to separate the engine and transmission again to remove this dowel. And it was so easy once I had access to it. But when I had the engine and the transmission an inch apart, I just couldn't get in there to get leverage to pull it out. But then it came right out. All right, I almost got it. But the reach of my hoist is at its limit. And the hydraulic pump is bumping up against the bumper, so I can't really get it any closer. Now this is a dangerous game. I stripped some threads on the transmission I was trying to mate up with an engine. The first one I was doing, I was, it's close enough, I'll use the bolts to bring it. But I think this is gonna be all right. It's going in smoothly. If there was any resistance, I would rethink my life. All right, so I got the starter position because the bolts that go through it also go through the transmission and mount to the engine. There we go. All right, so I got it pretty much mated. When I get the sides touching, I'm gonna take a break. Yeah, and I was nervous about doing this, but it's not requiring much force to get them to mate, so I know I'm on the right track. This has by far been the hardest part. If I'm lucky, motor mounts will line up. I think we got pretty lucky. And this side is good to go too. All right, now that those are started, and I know it's sitting on the subframe, I can go ahead and remove the hoist. I did break something though. This mount here, I'm pretty sure I broke that on the way out. I heard a pop, but I didn't see anything broken until I put it back in, and I noticed that it was cracked, and when I loosened this, it fell off. Need to order that now. All right, so transmission fully mated. Now I can tighten up all the nuts and bolts that are associated. The next ones I'm going to tighten are those up there, the nut on the bottom and the bolt up top. All right, you do not know how satisfying it is to see this engine back in the car. So tomorrow, I'll try to button everything up and get the fluids in and maybe start it. I won't drive it. We'll see if I can get one of those locally. But yeah, I achieved what I wanted to today. But as always, I would have liked to get a little farther. But anyway, catch you on the next one.